There exists within every human being a hidden realm, a psychological underworld where we banish the parts of ourselves we dare not acknowledge. Carl Jung called this the shadow, and it represents everything we refuse to accept about ourselves: our secret shames, our repressed desires, our hidden aggressions, and those aspects of our personality that society taught us were unacceptable. But here's the terrifying truth Jung discovered. This shadow doesn't disappear when we ignore it. Instead, it grows stronger in the darkness, subtly influencing our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in ways we rarely recognize until it's too late. Consider for a moment the last time you experienced an emotional reaction that seemed disproportionate to the situation. Perhaps a colleague received praise, and you felt an unexpected pang of resentment. Maybe a stranger's innocent comment made your blood boil without logical reason. Or possibly you've noticed certain types of people consistently trigger strong negative reactions in you. These aren't random occurrences. They're messages from your shadow, trying desperately to get your attention. Jung's revolutionary insight was that our shadows form primarily in childhood, through what psychologists now call the golden shadow and the black shadow. The golden shadow contains the positive qualities we were shamed for. Perhaps your childhood creativity was mocked, so you buried your artistic side. The black shadow holds our denied darkness. Maybe you were punished for showing anger, so you learned to suppress all aggression, even healthy assertiveness. With each passing year, we stuff more of these disowned parts into our psychological basement, creating what Jung called a bag we drag behind us through life. The shadow doesn't just sit quietly in our unconscious. It operates through powerful psychological mechanisms, most notably projection. This is when we unconsciously attribute our own denied qualities to others. That coworker who seems unbearably arrogant, the friend whose neediness drives you crazy, the politician you despise. They may be serving as screens onto which you're projecting aspects of your own shadow. As Jung famously stated, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The intensity of your reaction often corresponds directly to how much you've repressed that same quality within yourself. But why does this matter in practical terms? Because until we make peace with our shadow, we remain at its mercy. It influences who we're attracted to, often people who embody our disowned traits. It shapes our sudden emotional outbursts. It drives our self-sabotaging behaviors. Many of what we call bad habits or irrational fears are actually shadow material trying to surface. The person who constantly procrastinates may be rebelling against their own perfectionist tendencies. The partner who picks fights may be expressing anger they've suppressed for years. Perhaps most disturbingly, our shadows manifest physically when ignored long enough. Jungian analysts note that many psychosomatic illnesses, chronic pains, and even accidents often correlate with deeply repressed shadow material. The body, it seems, remembers what the mind tries to forget. Yet there's profound hope in this realization. Jung discovered that the shadow isn't our enemy. It's actually a treasure trove of untapped potential. Our greatest creative energies, our authentic passions, and our true personal power often lie buried in the shadow, waiting to be reclaimed. The traits we've disowned contain vital life force that could be serving us if properly integrated. That anger you've suppressed, it could become healthy boundaries. That sensitivity you've hidden, it might transform into profound empathy. The journey begins with simple but courageous self-observation. Start noticing your strong emotional reactions to others. Keep a journal of moments when you feel disproportionate irritation, attraction, or judgment toward people. These are your shadow's fingerprints. Ask yourself, what does this reaction say about me? The answers may surprise you. We all enter this world as whole, unfiltered beings. Infants who cry when hungry, laugh with abandon, and express every emotion without censorship. But slowly, through a million subtle moments, we learn to fracture ourselves. This is how your shadow was born, not through some dramatic trauma, though those accelerate its growth, but through the everyday process of becoming civilized. Every time a parent said, "Big boys don't cry," a piece of your emotional spectrum was severed. Each occasion a teacher shamed your silly imagination, your creative spirit retreated underground. That time you were punished for fighting back against a bully. That became the day you buried your healthy aggression. Jung revealed that our shadows grow largest, precisely where our natural instincts clash with societal expectations. The more proper and adjusted we become on the surface, the richer and more volatile our underground psychological ecosystem grows. Consider the paradoxical way shadows develop in modern society. We're taught simultaneously to be ourselves and to fit in. Impossible demands that fracture the psyche. The straight-A student develops a secret rebellious streak. The devoted spouse nurtures hidden fantasies of freedom. The tough businessman harbors unexpected tenderness. These aren't contradictions. They're the psyche's attempt at balance. Wherever society demands we amputate part of ourselves, the shadow preserves it in hidden form. The shadow doesn't just store our denied traits, it amplifies them. Like wine fermenting in a cellar, repressed emotions and impulses don't vanish, they intensify. That childhood fear of rejection you've never confronted, it's likely metastasized into social anxiety. The creative dreams you abandoned, they may now manifest as envy toward artistic friends. Jung discovered that the energy we use to suppress parts of ourselves doesn't neutralize them. It gives them greater psychological charge. This explains why shadows often erupt at life's transitions. The midlife crisis isn't just about aging. It's the shadow's overdue rebellion. The kind parent who suddenly explodes in rage isn't changing. They're finally confronting emotions buried for decades. Even positive changes can trigger shadow material. Promotions often awaken imposter syndrome. New relationships can stir old fears. These aren't random occurrences, but the psyche's attempt at self-correction. Perhaps most dangerously, our shadows shape the people we attract. Jung noted that we frequently draw into our lives individuals who embody what we've disowned. The meek person attracts bullies. The rigid moralist befriends rebels. The workaholic marries a free spirit. These aren't coincidences, but unconscious attempts to complete ourselves externally, since we won't do it internally. The toxic relationship pattern you can't escape. It's likely your shadow's doing. But here's the revolutionary insight. Your shadow isn't your weakness. It's your untapped strength. That part of you that feels too much. It's your capacity for depth. That anger you're afraid of. It contains your boundaries. Those inappropriate desires. They hold clues to your authentic passions. The shadow isn't a monster to slay, but a disowned self to reclaim. Integration begins with what Jung called shadow work. Not eliminating the darkness, but bringing it into respectful relationship with the light. This starts with compassionate curiosity about your own reactions. When someone irritates you, ask, "What does this say about me?" When you feel sudden shame, inquire, "What part of me believes this is unacceptable?" The answers will surprise you. The most profound truth about your shadow is this: it was never your enemy. Carl Jung's greatest revelation was that our darkness doesn't disappear when we ignore it. It simply finds darker ways to express itself. But when we turn toward it with courage and curiosity, something miraculous happens. The very traits that once haunted us become sources of tremendous power, and the energy we once wasted on suppression becomes fuel for our greatest growth. Consider how shadows operate in the modern world. We live in an era that worships positivity while denying the full spectrum of human experience. We are taught to medicate our sadness, suppress our anger, and shame our desires. But the psyche rebels against this artificial sunlight. Like a plant forced to grow in only one direction, it finds ways to twist back toward wholeness. That unexplained depression, it might be your authentic self protesting the persona you've constructed, the sudden outburst of temper. Perhaps your boundaries finally refusing to be ignored any longer. Jung discovered that shadows communicate through symbols and synchronicities long before they erupt into conscious awareness. Recurring dreams of being chased often represent aspects of ourselves we're running from. Fascination with certain villains or anti-heroes in stories may point to disowned power within ourselves. Even accidental slips of the tongue, those moments when we say something startlingly honest, are often the shadow breaking through our carefully constructed masks. The process of integration begins with recognizing these clues. When you feel an intense emotional charge towards someone, whether attraction, repulsion, or envy, pause and look deeper. That charismatic leader you admire despite questionable morals might be reflecting your own disowned power. The overly sensitive person who irritates you could be mirroring vulnerability you were taught to suppress. The key is to ask not, "Why is this person like this?" but "Why does this affect me so deeply?" Creative expression becomes essential in shadow work. Unlike traditional therapy that seeks to analyze and control, Jungian methods invite the shadow to speak in its own language. Try keeping a dream journal by your bed, not to interpret symbols intellectually, but to engage them as living parts of yourself. When a powerful dream figure appears, imagine continuing the conversation while awake. Ask what message it brings, what gift it offers. You'll often find that what first appears monstrous carries surprising wisdom. Relationships transform when we stop projecting our shadows onto others. The partner who once seemed withholding may simply be reflecting our own disowned independence. The friend who appears irresponsible might be showing us where we've become too rigid. As we withdraw these projections, we gain tremendous freedom. The freedom to see people as they truly are, and to relate from our whole selves rather than our fragmented personas. Physical symptoms often carry shadow messages as well. Chronic tension in the jaw might represent unexpressed words. Recurring stomach issues could signal gut feelings we've refused to acknowledge. The body keeps score in ways the conscious mind avoids, and shadow work includes listening to these somatic signals with the same respect we give to dreams and emotions. The ultimate goal isn't to eliminate the shadow, but to develop a conscious relationship with it. Like a wise elder who knows our whole story, the integrated shadow becomes a source of guidance rather than sabotage. It remembers what we've forgotten, protects what we've neglected, and insists on the wholeness we've abandoned. Those flashes of intuition, sudden inspirations, and unexpected moments of courage, that's your shadow working with you instead of against you. As this integration deepens, you'll notice fundamental shifts. Decisions become clearer when you're no longer fighting hidden parts of yourself. Creativity flows more freely when you're not censoring your impulses. Relationships deepen when you stop expecting others to carry what you've rejected in yourself. The energy once spent maintaining divisions within your psyche now becomes available for living with greater authenticity and purpose. This is the alchemical secret at the heart of Jung's work. By embracing our full humanity, light and dark, we don't become worse people, but more complete ones. The shadow doesn't vanish through integration. It transforms from a disruptive force into a wise partner. What we once feared as darkness reveals itself as depth. What we judged as weakness emerges as nuance. The full spectrum of human experience becomes not something to manage, but to inhabit with curiosity and compassion. The journey of shadow work never truly ends, because wholeness isn't a destination. It's a way of traveling. Each new life chapter will reveal fresh layers to explore, new edges to soften, additional aspects to welcome home. But with each integration, you reclaim more of your vital energy, your authentic voice, and your capacity to meet life's complexities with resilience and grace. This completes our three-part exploration of Jung's shadow concept. From recognizing its presence, to understanding its origins, to finally transforming its power, we've followed the path Jung mapped towards psychological wholeness. The work continues wherever you choose to take it next. In your relationships, your creative pursuits, your dreams, and the quiet moments of self-reflection that reveal who you're truly becoming.